Hello everybody, my name is Mr. Jake and welcome to a Summer Reading Storytime. This summer's theme is Tales and Tales, so we'll be reading stories about animals all summer long. This week, we're going to look at animals that live in the grasslands. You might have heard the grasslands called by some other names, like the prairie or the savanna. There are grasslands areas all over the world with different animals in each one. For example, in the prairie, you might see American bison, where in the savanna you might see zebras and lions. Let's read a few stories about the animals that live in the grasslands. The first one we'll read is called How to Hide a Lion by Helen Stephens. This story is called How to Hide a Lion by Helen Stephens. One hot day, a lion strolled into town to buy a hat. But the townspeople were scared of lions, so the lion ran away. He ran as fast and as far as he could and hid in a house in a garden. It was a playhouse, and it belonged to a small girl called Iris. "You can't hide there," said Iris, who wasn't scared of lions. "That house is too small for you." They went inside so Iris could hide the lion properly. They had to be quiet, because moms and dads can be funny about having a lion in the house. The lion let Iris comb the leaves out of his mane, and he showed her his paw where he had stepped on something sharp. "I'll put a bandage on that," said Iris. It wasn't easy hiding a lion. He was just too big, too fluffy, and too heavy, especially when he was asleep. And lions sleep a lot. Where would you hide a lion? Is there a place you could think of? Maybe, do you think a lion would fit under your bed? But when no one was looking, the lion could come out to play. They just had to be careful not to be too noisy. One evening, Iris's dad said, "They still haven't found that lion." "I bet he's a kind lion," said Iris from behind the sofa. "There's no such thing as a kind lion," said her mom. "All lions will eat you." The lion was worried, but Iris comforted him. Then she read him his favorite story. It was about a tiger who came to tea. He fell asleep halfway through, though, because lions sleep a lot. And that was when everything went wrong. Iris heard her mom coming up the stairs, but she found it's hard to wake a sleeping lion. However, most lions will wake up if a mom screams at them. Oh no, what's going to happen to the lion? Are they going to get in trouble? The lion raced out of the house, all the way over here, and found a hiding place where he could still see Iris whenever she came into town. Nobody noticed him, not the townspeople, not even Iris. And certainly not the two burglars who broke into the town hall and stole every single one of the mayor's candlesticks. But the lion noticed them. You see the lion up here hiding, and those are the burglars running away. What will the lion do? With a huge roar, he leapt off his pedestal. Can you roar like a lion? Let's try with me. Roar! Good job. And stood on both the burglars until the police came. All the townspeople were amazed, except for Iris, who said, "I told you he was a kind lion." Now the lion was a hero. He didn't have to hide anymore. The townspeople held a special parade for him. The mayor said he could have anything he wanted. The lion thought for a moment. Then he asked for... What do you think the lion would want? Do you remember what the lion came to town for at the very beginning of the story? I think the lion wants a hat, which was all he'd come to town for in the first place. It really suits you, said Iris. The end. That story was called How to Hide a Lion by Helen Stephens. Where would you hide your lion if you had one? I think I'd try to hide mine under my bed, but maybe my mom would check there. Let's read about a few more animals in Grassland by Sean Callery. This is a non-fiction book, which means there's a lot of information that's all true. There are lots of animals inside of this book, and if we were going to read the whole thing, it would take us a long time. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to read about a few animals inside of the book. If you're interested in reading more, you can always check out one of these books from our library as well. But let's jump into our story. This book is called Grassland by Sean Callery. Grasslands are large areas of grasses and plants, sometimes with a few trees. They have different names in different parts of the world, including prairies, pampas, steppes, plains, and savanna. All animals must eat to live. They hunt for food and try not to be eaten by predators. The list of who eats who is called a food chain. This book follows food chains in grasslands around the world. You will learn about the life cycles of some animals, how they're born, grow, reproduce, and die, and what, if anything, eats them. Most food chains start with plants like this wild grass. They're called producers because they make their own food from the energy of the sun. Animals that eat plants are called consumers because they eat other living things. These include kangaroo, bison, elephants, and many others such as tiny insects. The next animal in a food chain eats small, slow prey. This lizard from the African savanna, for example, eats insects, mammals, eggs, birds, and dead animal remains. At the top of a food chain is a top predator, such as a lion. Top predators are big, strong, and fast, and no other animal can catch them. Vulture. Vultures are the scavengers of the savanna. They eat prey that other animals, such as lions, have killed and left behind. They help keep the savanna clean by eating flesh that would otherwise lie and rot. A pair of vultures makes a wide nest of sticks lined with grass high up in a tall tree. Here, the female lays a single egg. There could be 6 nests in a single tree. Both parents help keep the egg warm for about 56 days until it hatches. That's about 2 months. Then, the female stays with her chick for 3 weeks while the male gets food for the whole family. Each parent stores food in a pouch in its neck, called a crop. It brings up or regurgitates the food for its chick. The crop holds a lot of food, so the parents do not have to leave the nest often. Sometimes, hundreds of adult vultures eat an animal together. They can do this because each type of vulture eats a different part of the dead animal. Vultures live for about 18 years. They are rarely attacked by other animals. Cougar. Cougars, or pumas, are cats with very powerful jaws. They can grab and eat almost any animal they come across in their territory, including deer, other mammals, birds, and insects. 3 months after mating, the female gives birth to 2 or 3 cubs. The young live on their mother's milk for 7 weeks. Cougar cubs have spotted coats with black rings around their tails. Their eyes are blue, but turn amber or green as the cubs grow. The mother shows the cubs where she has killed prey, and they play fight to practice their hunting skills. After 6 months, they begin to hunt small animals on their own. Adult cougars measure about 8 feet from nose to tail and weigh about 155 pounds. Cougars can live for 10 to 12 years. They may have rival hunters, but no other animal is likely to kill them. American badger. American badgers are very good at digging. They make burrows to sleep in during the day, and at night they dig again to hunt for prey, such as mice and birds. They are tough fighters and will attack rattlesnakes. A female badger gathers grass and takes it to a special, large, deep den where she will give birth to her babies. A litter of about 3 cubs is born in the early spring. They are blind and suckle their mother's milk for the first 2 to 3 months. The cubs start to explore outside the den when they are 5 to 6 weeks old. Around this time, they will also begin to eat solid food. After about 6 months, the cubs leave the den to find their own territories or ranges. Adult badgers may dig up to 10 feet into the ground each day. American badgers live for 5 to 10 years. Above the ground, they are in danger from quick-footed predators, such as the coyote. Coyotes hunt alone or in packs. They sometimes hunt alongside badgers, but they will eat them too, especially the young. Coyotes are omnivores, so they eat fruit and vegetables as well as meat. About 2 months after mating, a female gives birth to a litter of about 6 pups. Their eyes open when they are 10 days old. The pups suckle their mother's milk and are able to leave the den when they are 1 month old. Within 5 weeks, they start eating solid food. The parents cough up or regurgitate half-eaten food for them and bring live mice to the den so that the pups can learn how to hunt. The pups are fully grown in a year, and the males leave. A coyote pack is made up of 6 related adults and their young. Coyotes live for about 10 years. Pups often die young, but adults have very few predators and are at the top of many food chains. That book was called Grassland by Sean Callery. There are many other animals inside of this book as well, so if you want to learn more about zebras, lions, and other kinds of grassland animals, feel free to check this book out from the library. Thank you so much for listening to our story time today. We hope you learned a little bit about the grasslands and the animals that live inside of it. There are lots more stories and nonfiction books about animals that live in the grasslands as well. So feel free to come on down to our library and check out a few books. We hope to see you soon. Bye, friends!